This is Tegan Pye, and welcome to ABC News. Today we are talking about Kath Walker. You might be wondering who Kath Walker is. Well, Kath Walker fought for the rights of the Aboriginal people, and she wrote the poem No More Boomerang, in which she talks about the struggle of the Aboriginal people adapting to the white way of living. Australian Aboriginal writer and political activist Kath Walker is considered the first of the modern-day Aboriginal protest writers. This keen satirical poem describes the differences between life in Australia in the present and the past, and how it is slowly changing for the worse. Their traditional ways and lands have been replaced by a white way of life and by Western civilization. The theme of the poem is how the Aboriginal traditional ways were taken away, and if they believed in those ways, they were excluded from society. The poem talks about how the white man ways were alien to the Aboriginal people. It is shown in the sentence, "Now we got movies and we pay to go in." The Aboriginal people's form of entertainment was free. Now they have to pay to be entertained? The emotions that are conveyed in the poem are anger towards the people that enslaved the Aborigines. But she conveys it in a very minute way. She hints towards her anger, but never states that what they did was bad. In the line, "Bunyip he finished, now got instead, white fellas bunyip, call him red." This line compares British soldiers to bunyips. Bunyips are mythical creatures from Australian folk, in that they killed and slaughtered many Aborigines, and in doing so, earned the reputation of a white bunyip. Call 'em red is a reference to the red coats of the soldiers. The poet uses a wide range of poetic devices to convey messages to the reader. For instance, in the line, "Now all civilized color bar and beer," alliteration is used here to grab the reader's attention. This poem's biggest poetic device is juxtaposing. In every stanza, the poet conveys the Aboriginal person lived to the way the white man would live. No more boomerang, no more spear, now all civilized color bar and beer. No more corroboree, gay dance and din, now we got movies and pay to go in. This compares the way that the Aboriginal people entertain themselves to the white man. Aborigines hunt for food with a spear and boomerang, but the white man go to a bar and beer and food. The Aborigines would dance around a fire as tradition, and the white man would pay to be entertained. The poet used a simile to describe the way the Aboriginal people were enslaved. Quoting from the poem, "Work like a nigger for a white man meal." This shows that the Aboriginal people were not equal to the white population. They work harder than any other white man and get rewarded the same as the white man. The poet uses a rhetorical question to allow us to think about the subject. Abstract picture now. What they coming at? Crepes in our caves did better than that. The Aboriginal people are not used to the modern artwork of the Australians because they are so different to the work they produce. The poem has a rhyme scheme of AABB-CCDD, which allows the poem to flow, but this also helps contract with the juxtaposition of the poem, since the rhyme scheme is AABB-CCDD, so in each paragraph, the juxtaposition will rhyme. I felt very guilty when reading this poem. Some of the things that we did to the Aboriginal people were terrible. This poem is the voice of the Aborigines and tells us how their struggle was and what we can do to help them. Reading this poem made me think about the white people through the Aboriginal eyes, and I know how they must have felt towards them. In the poem, in almost every stanza, there was juxtaposition to compare the beliefs of the Aborigines and the white man, and it showed that we both have the same qualities of living, but have different ways of living. The purpose of the poem is to inform us of the way that they thought of us, and to fight for the equality of the Aborigines. Kath Walker in the poem talks about the Aboriginal people were brought up so different compared to us, and we can't judge them for that, or discriminate them for acting or doing things the way they did. To conclude my analysis, the poem describes the difference between the life of an Aborigine and the life of a white person in Australia, and talks about what they did to change the Aboriginal people. If they did not change, then they were alienated from society.